a song for ya.
You're listening to Deep Purple Smoke on the Podcast. I will do one episode for each song the band recorded in the studio. However, this is a fan podcast and not band endorsed. It's more of a tribute to their long history, well beyond just the hits, and my way of giving something back to a band that has given so much to me. Let's dig in! Hello and welcome to Season 26, Episode 5, the revisit season of Deep Purple Smoke on the Podcast. I am your host, Scott Haskin, and today we are talking about the song The Painter, which was originally recorded as Hey Bop a Rebop, a bonus track, and then eventually turned into The Painter, much like Grab Splatter was turned into I'm Alone. Now, I originally reviewed this song with Mark Roback from the 70s Weekly Countdown with Mark and Pete, which is an excellent podcast you should check out if you're interested in 70s music, curious about 70s music. Some of it even bleeds over from the 60s, some of it possibly into the 80s, depending on which week they happen to cover. But it's a great show nonetheless. Mark and Pete are great guys. Love listening to that one. It's a monthly podcast, a little bit longer, usually around a couple hours, but definitely worth a listen. And sometimes, regardless of the subject matter, it's just fun to listen to two friends have a conversation. I really enjoy that. But let's get to today's song. So The Painter, this is definitely a thumbs up song for me. It's not one that is a huge favorite of mine. A lot of times when I would be listening to this album, I would just kind of skip it and go to, songs that are more my favorite. But again, through the podcast, and very happy that I'm doing this show for this reason, not just to share this music and the things I find interesting in it for you guys, but to also rekindle with some songs that maybe I've kind of discarded over the years. And this has certainly been one of them. So I say we get right into it. Before I do, though, I want to let you know, I did go back and listen to Lelania, and that little click I heard in the beginning did not hear on the tetragrammaton vinyl. I can't even speak. Tetragram. It's a great way to do a podcast, Haskin. All right. So it could be something that was brought out in the remaster and just so far in the background on the original recording that I just am not able to pick it up. So I'm sure if I put it in Isotope and RX and played with it, I could probably bring it out. But, I have other things to do. So speaking of other things to do, here's The Painter by Deep Purple. Well, first off, we're coming right out of Fault Line, remember, so we're not getting a normal start to a song because it's really kind of a continuation of a previous song. So a lot of times, we have these really short riffs and they go right into the lyrics. Obviously, this one just starts out with a lengthy guitar solo, about 30 seconds worth of Richie playing some great stuff. I do disagree a little bit with the mix. I think it's a little bit in the background for me where Richie should be a little bit more featured. But we've got a great groove going on behind him, almost similar to I'm Alone and Grab Splatter, slowed down a little bit, but similar, and it certainly has the same feeling of that groove, which is really cool. And that is some great playing from Richie.
Painter, come care of my life. Oh, painter, come care of my life. Take away the misery, take away the strife.
Now, this song doesn't really have a chorus. What we heard there feels more like a pre-chorus than anything else, and there's really nothing that it heads into. It just stays in the groove, which, is kind of cool. It's nice to have that once in a while. We don't need to have every song have choruses that repeat 6-7 times during a song to the point where we're like, okay, It's a chorus. I know it. I gotcha. So it's nice to have a little bit of variety. Not really sure why they attached this to Fault Line because they really don't seem to be related songs. That might have just been like, hey, here's a cool music thing we could do, and did it because of that. Don't really see any reason or connection for it otherwise. Maybe they didn't like the beginning of The Painter and they're like, hey, let's just attach it to Fault Line, then we don't have to worry about doing an intro by itself. Have no idea. But either way, Rod's singing in a great, passionate, powerful vein right here. Again, much like Lelania was, I feel like as far as rock goes, I feel like this is his wheelhouse. He can sing that upbeat, powerful stuff. He can growl, put a little grit into it when he wants to, as we've seen. But like this, for rock and roll, this is Rod Evans at his peak.
Just give me words to say.
So now, Rod is looking for another art form. He's kind of like calling out everybody, saying, bring me something to color up this world, to make it brighter and more enjoyable. And I think, it's funny, all these years, 50 plus years later, we're still kind of looking for that, right? Always looking for something new, always looking for something else to fulfill us. It seems like no matter how much we have these days, there's so much unfortunate unhappiness in the world that it can sometimes overshadow. So we want more good stuff. But I think we get it from these guys at least. And it's some great playing. I like that little tag at the end there from Richie. It feels very natural. It's interesting that he like played it, stopped, and then played it again. That's very unlike him, but that's what he did in the moment they were recording. So other than that, he's doing a great job just keeping up with the groove, supporting everybody, or I should say everyone's supporting each other in the groove. And when Rod's over the top singing the pleas as they are, because it really, that's what it feels like. It feels like this song is just a plea for beautification of the world. Yeah, I think when I did the first episode, I was very supportive of this solo, and I still am. It does feel a little bit like this is way too much time, that we don't need this long of a guitar solo. But it seems like in songs where they have the sort of each John and Richie get a solo, it seems like those solo sections tend to be a little bit longer than they would be if it was just just one of them. Then they get a slightly shorter section. But yeah, I mean, it's good, but it's kind of like, okay, I think we've got plenty, and it could have been dialed back, 8 bars or so at least, maybe even cut in half. Not that the playing wasn't good, not that it's not interesting, but does the song really need that long of a solo? It was also nice to just have those chords come in from John Lord, but the first time it happened, I'm like, okay, there's the chord, couldn't remember what happened after that. Then it just kind of like disappeared. Like now it feels empty without that sound. Then it came back again. I'm like, okay. And then it left again. I'm like, yeah, that's just kind of weird. Like either put him in there or don't. Yeah, I'm going to have to make the same argument for John Solo. Again, great performance, lots of great stuff in there. I like this second half better, but it seems like you could either go up to the point where he started playing chords and then go into that like, that almost dog barking like part at the end there, or just do the second half. But it's just like it's so much, or do two half solos each, like take half of that, break it up. You could keep the song the same length and break it up. Richie, John, end at the same part we do here going into the final verse. That would have worked fine. But those sections on their own are just very, very long. Now, I would say that this would be a fine representative of what it's like to see the band live, even at this time. They were doing, pretty explosive jams on stage. So I think it's really more of the style of the way that they were performing live than what they would normally be doing in the studio. These sections just seem really long to me.
Sing love, let me sing a song. Oh, sing love, let me sing a song. You don't have to worry, 'cause singer, you can sing along.
Even the end of this is very much a concert ending, and it's interesting how quick that reverb tail died off. Now, that could have been manually done for the ending, but they also, it doesn't really seem like they had a ton of reverb, not like I'm used to from Shades of Deep Purple, like just the right amount to make it feel alive, but not be so noticeable. Reverb should be, in a lot of cases, felt more than it's heard. It's meant to create that live atmosphere, and that this is recorded in a room and not padded for perfect sound and clarity. But that was nice. That was a nice short amount that it decayed with. I just don't know if that was the amount through the whole song or whether they just ducked it at the end. But either way, yeah, it's a great song. Concert ending kind of fits the vibe of what I was just talking about before the last section, where it really feels like this is more how they would perform it live than should have been recorded in the studio. And it could have very much been just a live jam that they recorded and said, hey, you know what, that works. Let's keep that and put it on the album. And then just done like a vocal overdub or maybe a solo overdub or something like that. I don't know. I don't have any information on that. What I do have is just the end result. And I think for the song itself, it's highly energetic. It's a great song. I think it's a great live song. But for the studio, for me, solos were just longer than they needed to be, or could have been broken up into 4 shorter solos and would have been a little more exciting. But you know what? These guys are still so young. They're still in their early 20s. Ian Pace isn't even 20 yet when they're recording this. So I have to think in terms of that. I have to say, where was the producer to say, maybe we don't need that much. Let's rearrange the song. Or maybe they said, you know what? Who cares? That was a great take. Let's just keep it. I really don't know. But it's a good song. It's very energetic. It's a lot of fun to listen to. The solos are absolutely fantastic. If Richie's was mixed a little better, I could probably appreciate it a little bit more. But apart from that, yeah, it's a great piece of Deep Purple history, and a very fun one. Like that's a good song that if you just need to get a little pumped up, boy, put that on, and there you go. You'll be off for the day. So anyway, thanks for listening to this episode. We are, 5 songs into this re-listen season now. As I'm recording this, it is April 19th, and I still have a few more songs that I've already recorded the episodes with my guests to record. And then I think I'll just kind of like record the co-hosted episode, wait a couple of days, depending on my schedule, but at least wait a couple of days and then come back and record my own version. So most of these will be well ahead of release date for you guys listening. But I think that'll give me enough time to kind of get away from it and clear my head and come back to it with a fresh perspective. And also not get too behind, so that when I get to the season, I'm not like, holy shit, I've got 48 episodes to do or whatever it is. Right now it sits at 43, but I know people are still looking at signing on for some episodes. So I expect it will be more than 33 by the time this is done. Fortunately, since I'm not even uploading any of these because I don't know what the date's going to be, let alone, I mean, I think it's going to be season 26, but I'm not sure. So since I'm not uploading any of these, they are being done in order. I'm recording them for the most part in order, but some of the times when I'm scheduling with a guest, those get recorded like after a song that comes after that on the album, but not moving too far ahead beyond that. So it's pretty easy for me to just go ahead and do this and keep everything up to date so I don't get bombarded at the end with holy shit. Now I've got, a bunch more episodes to do. So anyway, I feel like I'm getting repetitive. So I'm going to stop and just say thank you for everyone who's shared, subscribed to the Patreon, supported, commented, all that good stuff. Even just listen. Thank you for just even listening to this. That really means a lot to me. I've had, even up to this point when I'm recording, I've had a lot of people reach out and say how much they enjoy the show. And one thing I've loved is a couple people have pointed out what a great companion show it is to the Deep Purple podcast, which was kind of my hope because it's a very different format. They do a whole album at a time. They talk through the album. They're touching nodes here and there, but they're not really doing a deep dive into the individual songs. It's more a deep dive into the band, the family of the band, the history, all of that stuff. They're covering live albums, which I have no intention of doing on this show. So I really do feel like it is good. Like they do overviews of the albums deeper into the band. I do overview of the band deeper into the song. So just depends on what you like. The main difference is that all of their shows are hosted by two people. Only some of mine are. This show, to do that would be an absolute scheduling nightmare. It's hard enough to get somebody even reaching out a month in advance to be able to narrow down a schedule and record a guest episode. As of right now, I haven't had to bump anything yet. We've been able to work it out, but that's why I start a month ahead of the release date, because scheduling does get pretty tough. We all have adult lives. We're all very busy people. So that is the challenge. But if I were to do this show with a co-host, it really wouldn't work. There's just too many episodes per week. Plus, for me to produce that takes a lot longer in the back-end processing of it all the filters and everything I run after the fact. They're much longer episodes because it's not just me. So it takes longer to process the video for YouTube. It's longer to process all the audio clips. Plus, there's twice as much to process. So it just really wouldn't work doing 4 episodes a week. But thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next episode of Smoke on the Podcast. Cheers. Thanks for listening to Deep Purple Smoke on the Podcast, a tour of the entire Deep Purple studio recordings. Please remember to give the show a rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. Leave a comment and tell your friends. I also have a Patreon set up if you'd like to support the show. You can also write to me at smokeonthepodcast@gmail.com. I hope you enjoyed the episode and thanks for listening.